Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're dissecting the invisible electrical grid that you literally carry around in your pocket. I'm talking about the science happening right beneath our fingertips every single day, usually without us giving it a second thought, right? It's a total marvel of modern engineering that has completely transformed how we interact with the world, with information, and with each other. So let's just dive right into this masterclass on the electric pulse. Okay, let's start with a highly relatable scenario, one you probably performed the moment you woke up today. Your alarm goes off, you reach out, your finger taps a smooth piece of glass, and instantly, silence. Then you're swiping through the news, tapping out a quick message to a friend, or just scrolling your feed. It feels incredibly intuitive, almost like the device is predicting your movements. But there's actually zero magic happening here. It's just flawless, real-time physics. We tend to take this flawless execution as a given, completely overlooking the immense computational and physical effort required to map a single, simple tap. To put this into perspective, the sheer volume of this is staggering. The average person taps, swipes, and clicks their phone roughly 2,617 times a day. Think about that. And every single one of those interactions relies on a tiny, microscopic fireworks display happening right at the point of contact. This little pane of glass is our primary bridge to the digital world, and it handles thousands of interactions flawlessly in literally fractions of a millisecond. It's an absolutely astounding level of reliability for something we do so passively. So here's the real question, and the whole reason we're doing this explainer today. We all know what's a touchscreen, sure, but the actual physics required to map your physical thumbprint to a digital pixel in milliseconds, that is a masterpiece of material science. Despite our constant, everyday contact with these devices, the mechanics behind them are largely ignored. We just assume it's some standard technological miracle, but the engineering architecture making it all happen is way more fascinating than just saying, oh, well, it works. To really unlock this mystery and reveal the specific engineering behind your daily scrolling, we need to look closely at the most common type of screen technology out there today. Now, we're not talking about those older, squishy, resistive touchscreens, the ones from early 2000s ATMs or those clunky car GPS devices where you actually had to mash your finger down to bend a flexible top layer into a bottom layer just to register a mechanical switch. Yeah, not those. The solid-state technology in our pockets today doesn't rely on physical pressure at all. The modern standard is called the capacitive touchscreen. The absolute keyword there is capacitance, which is fundamentally a system's ability to store an electrical charge. These screens aren't waiting for the physical force of your finger pushing down. Instead, they're actively hunting for an electrical signature, specifically yours. They set up this baseline electrical state and then basically just sit there, waiting for something to disrupt it. Which brings us to a pretty mind-bending realization. The secret to this whole technology isn't just hidden inside the hardware of the phone. It's actually within you. You are literally the missing component that completes the interaction. Without you, the screen's electrical field just sits there, completely static. This is exactly why, in the dead of winter, if you try to text your friend while wearing thick wool gloves, your phone completely ignores you. The screen isn't broken. Wool is just an insulator, meaning the hardware simply can't feel your unique electrical signature through all that fabric. So the absolutely crucial point here is understanding your role in this circuit. Because the human body is mostly made up of water and electrolytes, things like sodium and potassium, you are a highly efficient walking biomaterial conductor. You carry your own base capacitance wherever you go. We can use a simple analogy here. Your body essentially acts like a massive sponge for electrical charge, fully capable of absorbing a tiny fraction of current when you bring it close to a sensitive electrostatic field. Think about it like this. When a touchscreen emits its faint electrostatic grid and your conductive finger gets close to it, this invisible energetic exchange kicks off. You actively alter the local electrical field, briefly completing an open circuit with the hardware. You aren't just pushing a button, you are actively disrupting an established baseline of electricity. The phone detects this exact disruption, recognizing instantly that a human is physically bridging the gap. Now, detecting that a highly conductive human is nearby is one thing, right? But knowing exactly which tiny pixel you want to tap on a virtual keyboard, that is an entirely different level of precision. Let's break down this magic trick step by step to see exactly how the hardware processes this biological signal into digital coordinates in real time. To pull this off, the screen utilizes a truly beautiful piece of layered material engineering. There's a highly specific process at work here, involving three key elements collaborating perfectly to detect a single touch. We've got step 1, the glass, step 2, the sensors, and step 3, the electricity. If any single one of these three elements fails or is manufactured incorrectly, your phone instantly goes from a highly responsive interactive device to a glowing, totally unresponsive brick. Let's start right at the surface. Step 1 is the glass. Now, this isn't just armor against drops and scratches. In physics terms, it acts as a dielectric. Okay, what does that mean? A dielectric is an electrical insulator that can be polarized by an applied electric field. Basically, it prevents the actual electrical current from shocking you while still allowing the phone's electrostatic field to project outward, right beyond the surface of the screen, to meet your finger. It is the perfect transparent barrier that allows field interaction without current transfer. Moving down, step 2 is the sensors. Hidden just beneath that dielectric glass sits the sensor layer. This is typically made of something called indium tin oxide, or ITO. It's a rare and incredibly fascinating material because it manages to be both highly conductive and completely optically transparent. No easy feat. This ITO is etched into a microscopic grid with overlapping rows and columns creating distinct X and Y coordinates. This grid blankets your entire screen in an invisible hum, establishing thousands of individual nodes where capacitance is constantly monitored. Finally, we get to step 3, the electricity. When you apply a tiny voltage to that ITO grid, it creates a perfectly uniform electrostatic field at every single intersection. Then, your finger touches down. Because you are that natural conductor we talked about, your body's natural capacitance steals a tiny fraction of that charge, absorbing some of those electric field lines. The device's processor instantly spots that localized drop in voltage, a decrease in mutual capacitance, at a highly specific XY intersection, pinpointing your exact coordinates on the screen. This incredibly rapid collaboration between the dielectric glass, the ITO sensors, and the flow of electricity happens effortlessly every single time you swipe your screen. As you drag your finger, the device's touch controller is measuring these microscopic voltage drops at a crazy polling rate, often 120 or even 240 times per second. It tracks your exact path, filters out all the random electrical background noise, and registers a perfectly smooth continuous input. It's literally a flawless, real-time dance between material science and biology happening right in the palm of your hand. So looking at the big picture, we've essentially turned our own bodies into digital controllers, leveraging our natural biomaterial properties to bridge the physical and digital divide. But as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a thought-provoking question to maybe discuss in the comments. As screens get more advanced and sensors become wildly sensitive, where does this invisible science take us next? Will future devices project fields strong enough to detect our electrical impulses before we even make physical contact, essentially predicting our keystrokes midair? It's a pretty fascinating frontier. Thanks so much for joining this explainer, and as always, stay curious.